Hey everybody, I am actually doing this live. We're doing a little draw stream. This is the first ever for my channel here. Um, and so I just want to, for anybody who's going to watch the replay on this, I just want to say hello. Thank you for stopping by and checking it out. We'll see how this goes. It's my first time trying something like this, so we'll see how this works out. Hopefully it'll be fun. So anyway, I am going to share my screen. This is what I'm working on. I don't know if should I leave myself on the bottom? Should I not leave myself on the bottom? I don't know, I don't know if it's really worth it or not I mean, do you need to see me? I'm gonna be basically just looking down at the iPad while I'm drawing, so I don't know if that's really necessary. Why don't I take myself out of the corner there? Alright, so now you got that. You got my screen. So this is what I'm working on. You guys have heard me talk about this before. This is my comic book that I am currently working on right now. It's called Mongoose: A Tale of Vengeance. And yes, tail is spelled Tail. Uh, I like puns. What can I tell you? So anyway, I'm working on pages. It's going to be a 64-page book. Right now, I am inking page 40. So I've been working on this for a while, obviously. I haven't, I've been inking it for a few months at this point. It's tough, I work when I can. It's not, I don't do this full time. So, I work on it when I can. So I hope you guys like what you see so far. I'm going to if you guys are curious, I'm working in Metabang Paint on the iPad Pro. So this is the screen that you're seeing right now is my mirrored iPad screen. Um, just for kicks, you can see underneath what I actually did was I penciled traditionally. So you can see that here. I've got my traditional pencils. Boom, boom. The traditional pencils. I did those a while back, and then what I did was I scanned them in, and then I went back. Then I've been going back into. I brought it into Metabang, and I've been doing the frames, the panel borders, and of course doing the inks and eventually the colors as well. I don't know if I'll color it in Metabang or not, but we'll see. I'm still debating on that. I at some point I think I may end up having to get someone else to color it for me because I'm always very nervous about my colors. So anyway, what you will see though, like I'll point out here, this is kind of interesting to anybody who's curious. Let me get rid of the inks for a minute there. You'll see the elephant here. Um, if you see, it's clearly too small for the panel. Because originally when I did it in the traditional pencils, I drew it too big on the panel, and I want to have some words on the top here. There needs to be a word balloon at the top of this panel. So what I did was one of the nice things about doing digital inking, even if you do traditional pencils, one of the cool things is that you can, even after the fact, take your pencils, go in there and resize and mess with it. So that's what I did. I resized it. Actually got rid of I erased the eyes I had drawn because I didn't like them. Later on, I was looking at some reference of an elephant, and I felt like the eyes I had originally penciled didn't look like real elephant eyes. So then I shrunk it down, kept the rest of the page the way it was, because I think the rest of the page, the pencils are good, at least so far, unless I decide to mess with something later. And then I decided to go in and obviously with the resized image work from there. And then so some of it is straight off the pencils, and then you see like the ears extend off the page. There's no background at all on that initial pencils. And if you look at the zebra panel as well, like the backgrounds on the zebra panel are just like real rough, like sketching in like, okay, there's a background here, basically. So then when I got to inking, I go in there and I kind of use the framework I had set up from those little like sketchy pencils to make a more detailed background there. And you guys can see like I'm definitely going for it. It's definitely an interesting mixture, I think, like with this book. There's some realistic, it's mostly realistic looking, but it also leans a little cartoony at times. So I hope you guys like what you see. So right now I'm inking this panel right here. This is a what's it called? I forgot what it's called all of a sudden. I'm having a brain cramp. Um oh, for God's sake, not a gazelle. An impala. Yeah, they're pretty common. This book takes place in South Africa. Um, if anybody knows the area at all, just for kicks, I'm kind of thinking of it taking place in South Africa, in and around the area of the Greater Kruger National Park. So if you know anything about that, that's where it takes place. At some point, I'll get into the inspiration and where it all came from and that kind of stuff. So we can talk about that. If anybody here, anybody pops in has any questions, feel free, drop them in the chat. If anybody has any questions on watching the replay, put them in the description down below, and I'll be happy to, chime in with any answers I can give you. Also, if you guys are interested in the book and you want to see some behind the scenes stuff, you can see down in the description below. I've got a link for my Subscribe Star. If you subscribe there, it's like a couple of bucks a month. You get all kinds of exclusive behind the scenes goodies, and you'll see this stuff way before anybody else will. You're going to see, like, I'm pretty sure I'm going to just share every page on there. So we'll see. I haven't 100% decided on that, but we'll see. So anyway, I'm going to move the mic a little bit just so I can get in a comfortable position to draw. I hope you guys can still hear me good. This is the only problem with like a draw stream is I feel like I should just always be talking. And honestly, I don't think I can do that where I could just always be talking. Oh, that's messed up. You'll find I am incredibly difficult on myself when it comes to my art. And I also tend to be a little more improvisational when I'm inking, in that I don't, at least on this book, I haven't done like super tight pencils. I see KA Shook says, how much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? Actually, believe it or not, there is an answer to this question. How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? A woodchuck would chuck as much wood as a woodchuck could if a woodchuck could chuck wood. So that's your answer. I bet a lot of people didn't know there was an answer to that one. But yes, thank you, KA. He's a good dude. He's always leaving comments on a lot of my videos, and I really appreciate that. Leave some really intelligent, insightful comments. So you'll see I do like I follow what I've got in my backgrounds and in my pencils, but I also kind of muck around with it and try some different things just to see. For example, like this. Well, this I'm gonna do this with this back leg here. Throw some of that in there. Just because it's behind, so it's going to be in shadow. There's a part of me that really wants to do this entire book with tones, just black and white with tones. But then there's another part of me that knows there's a lot of people out there who really like color. And so I feel like I feel like I kind of need to do color, if that makes sense. So they've got like little ovals on their sides. And we're gonna do a little of this. It's funny with the backgrounds. I will say, backgrounds are always intimidating for me. And I enjoy drawing the animals, and I actually kind of enjoy doing the backgrounds. It's the first time I can say honestly that I've ever had a good time drawing backgrounds. I tend to not really enjoy drawing backgrounds too much because it's a lot of work, and yet what's funny is as I've come up with some techniques to do these backgrounds, I've started to enjoy them more and more. So it's definitely a good thing. It's definitely fun. Um, and you'll notice like there's definitely going to be throughout this book. I will absolutely say there's going to be some different techniques depending on the page, and even from not so much from panel to panel, but within the pages there might be some different techniques used on some of these, simply because it depends on what I'm trying to do and what's more important. Um, there are a couple of panels with, no background, and then there's some with some really detailed backgrounds. And then there's some with, kind of somewhere in the middle, um, which is good. I mean, it's kind of where we're at in terms of the storytelling, and it really comes down to what's important. Um, for example, like you can see the background here with the zebra, like there's a lot of stuff going on there, but it's actually pretty simple if you take them in. Like when you just take it in as a whole, it looks like there's a ton going on there, and it took me a while, but there's also a pretty clear technique to it all, and it's pretty easy to do. It just requires some patience, and that's been one of probably the biggest things for me, is just learning patience. Um, which is funny because I'm generally a pretty patient person in real life, but when it comes to drawing, I can definitely get a little impatient from time to time. Turning into Bob Ross now. There, happy little tree. Um, well, I'm also just, I'm just talking. I'm not yelling. I'm like, a lot of times on my live streams, you guys know if I get a live stream going, I can get fairly animated from time to time and get a little excited and you know uh, have some fun. But you guys have noticed I'm not really changing brush sizes, pen sizes too much while I do this. I use the G pen in Metabang. Oh, there's a line that's gone. You know what? I'll just undo that. I use the G pen. I like the G pen. Originally, when I started inking, and this is something that's hammering at my soul, honestly, like on a daily basis, is do I want to re-ink some of the early pages because I used a different pen? Um, there is a slight difference. I just don't know if it's worth all that extra time to do that. I mean, I think you'll see the difference a little bit if you're really paying attention, but otherwise, I don't think it's too obvious. Um, so we'll see. I'm not really 100% certain on what I want to do with that. I definitely will credit as far as like my backgrounds go. A lot of the things, if you like my backgrounds, thank you. First of all, that's nice to hear. I'm not a person who gets a lot of art feedback. Um, okay, I just saw your comment. What program are you using? I'm using Metabang Paint on the iPad Pro. It is also available on Android. It's actually available on your phone. It's available on PC. Uh, it's free. It's actually a free program, but they do have they have another level, I guess you would call it, that you can do um, for a paid fee. It's weird. It changed now. It used to be if you wanted to add on the extra bells and whistles, which I did do, um, way back, it was like $10. I added on and it was a one-time payment, and that's why I did it, because I can't stand the recurring payments on a lot of programs. I have Clip Studio on my PC because that was, again, a one-time payment. To get Clip Studio on the iPad is a subscription, which is just annoying to me. It's just frustrating to me. I'm not a fan. I have too many subscriptions in my life. Um, I really don't want another one. um, so I try to stay away from that. Uh, I do like Clip Studio, especially for lettering. You can letter in Metabang, um, and I've done it, and it doesn't look bad. It looks good. It actually works pretty well, but I find lettering on the PC is just easier, simply because it's just easier to install fonts on a PC than it is to install it on, an iPad or something. So if you wanna put new fonts in or anything like that, like, it's just a little bit easier to do it that way. So I like Clip Studio, I just am not a fan of the subscription model. So anyway, I believe Metabang just recently started doing a subscription. It's still free. You can still get it for free, and you pretty much can do everything with it. Although now I know they changed some stuff, and I'm not 100% sure on what the details are. So don't quote me anymore on some of this stuff. Like when I got in, when I started using it, because I've been using it for a long time. It was 100% free, and then they had that little extra bonus thing you could do, which is nice because it gets rid of it has ads in the free version. They're not really too at least they never were, like, super, annoying or anything, but it did have them, so if you wanted to get rid of them, that was part of what you could pay for, and then, and then it also had one of the things that I loved was it had cloud storage, free cloud storage. So what was nice was what I used to do with a lot of things when I was just messing around, not like working on anything seriously. I would use Metabang on my tablet. Before I had my iPad, I had a Galaxy Tab A that I got for free. My wife actually won it in a contest. Um, and like a raffle or something. And I would use it on there. But what I would also do is if I was gonna be out somewhere and just wanted to do something real simple, like maybe just drop in some flats or something like, just fill in some colors or something. Um, I would open it up on my phone and just use the cloud save and then go into the same thing and do it on my phone with like, one of them ugly styluses that's just like, a big rubber ball at the end, that kind of thing. Um, so like I would do that and I would bounce back and forth between the two. If I wanted to do something a little more detailed, I would do it on the Galaxy tab, um, which was not a bad tablet, quite frankly, but it wasn't like the greatest tablet either. And honestly, once I've gone here to the iPad and the Apple Pencil, like, just no I can't go back. There's just nothing that compares to that. Um, like, it just is the best. Like, it really is, like and I'm not trying to shill for Apple. I don't get anything for it. But there's just the fact of the matter is, like, honestly, it's one of the few things that I feel like if you talk to enough artists, they will almost to a man, woman, whatever. They will almost 100% will tell you that they prefer the iPad and Apple Pencil to just about anything. Um, I was talking to, I don't like that at all. I was talking to SK Bennett on Twitter way back. This is like a couple of years ago. We were talking, and we used to talk a lot actually. And he kind of disappeared. I'm not really sure what happened there. He's a good dude, though. I like him. I liked him a lot, and he's the guy who did both Umbrella Guys comics. He's definitely doing another case for the Little Umbrella. Um, I know that the new one, he's definitely doing that one, and I'm pretty sure he's doing everything on it, like drawing, coloring, lettering, everything. Um, he uh, he wholeheartedly recommended using the iPad. Um, he really likes Procreate, which obviously I'm sure if you've been around any artists on the internet, you're gonna hear about Procreate for sure. A lot of artists use it. My buddy RC Gates, who's on a lot of my streams with me, he uses it. A lot of people do, and they swear by it. I just don't feel comfortable with it. I don't wanna say I don't like it because it's a nice program. Um, it's got, like, it's got really, like, fairly intuitive controls and stuff, but I don't know, there's just something about it that just doesn't click with me for some reason, and it is what it is. I mean, it's everybody's gonna have what they like and what they don't like, and so, like, I mean, it is what it is, like, people, so he likes it, I'm just not comfortable with it. I mean, maybe if I spent more time, messing around with it, I'd get comfortable with it. I'm just not really super comfortable with it at the moment. You can see, by the way, that I'm doing if you're watching, um, you can see that I'm not actually, like, there's no pencils here for all this background stuff that I'm drawing. These were definitely, like, really loose pencils, which I don't know if I would recommend that or not to people to do, like, super loose pencils. Um, I don't know. It's just what I did. I don't wanna say it's the right way to go or the wrong way to go. It's just the way I've gone. Um, I do think, if I was doing something that wasn't in nature, I would be more strict with myself on the pencils in that, if I'm doing buildings and city streets and cityscapes and things of that nature, like, for that, I would definitely want more, uh, more, like, really plan it out, really have it set up the way it should be in the pencil stage. I would have much more detailed pencils, um, for that. I definitely would. That's just a thing, though. I mean, it's listen. Everybody's got their own thing. I mean, I've seen people like Ethan Van Sciver draw fairly loose pencils, and then it's like a hint of a layout, and then he goes in and he starts drawing this like crazy detailed like inking. Um, again, that comes with experience, obviously. That's the guy who's been doing it for damn near 30 years. So, you know, listen, I've been drawing that long too. Me and him are about the same age. I think we're like a year apart. Um, but yeah, like I don't have I haven't been drawing every day, all day for that long the way he was. Um, it's just it's just as simple as that. I just haven't. Um, so I don't know. I think that panel's done. I think I like it like that. With the background open. There's supposed to be what's happening here, for anyone who's curious about the story involved. The reason why it's just random animals right now is because as you can see here, again, pencils, loose pencils. Don't hold me to the pencils. They change when I do the inking. Um, the mongoose at this point, who is the main character of our story, is with a leopard who she is basically teaching him the way that leopards stalk. Um, she's trying to teach him how to hunt. If I didn't, I haven't mentioned it here. Um, in the you see me saving every so often. I'm like crazy about saving. I'm gonna take a drink for a second. So anyway, one of the things the story is about a mongoose whose family is slaughtered, and rather than just accept his place in the food chain and in the hierarchy of the African savanna and here really the Lowveld, um, he decides he's going to get revenge, and his family was killed by both a crocodile and a pack of hyena. So he's going to try to get revenge on all of them. Uh, It's kind of almost like a John Wick meets Ricky Tikki Tavi. Uh, kind of. Um, I like to say it's kind of almost inspired by Watership Down a little bit too, because there's some violence in this one. Um, you won't know it from looking at this page. But so anyway, what happens is stuff happens, and long story short, he ends up helping this leopard, and then the leopard in return helps to teach him the way that she hunts. So the stalking, the what would you call it, like the surprise, that kind of thing. There's a word for it, and I'm just blanking on it right now. It's been a long day. Um, so yeah, like so she's teaching him right now. So I mean, essentially, what she's doing here is she's just kind of like explain, like obviously they're not going to go after the elephant. Like, that would be just suicide. Um, a lone leopard has to understand. No, there's no bloody bunnies in this one, but there's definitely blood, but other animals. Uh, I really went back and forth on that, on what I wanted to do, uh, in terms of the violence factor. I was part of me in the beginning was like, should I tone it down? Should I keep it off screen? And some of it is off screen, off panel. Um, but some of it is right there in your face. And it could be fairly, it's meant to be, it's not meant for kids. I know it's got animals, it stars animals, but it's not meant to be like, it's not The Lion King. It's like, like I said, it's like John Wick meets, it could be, you could almost call it John Wick meets The Lion King. I know everyone hates those type of sales pitches, but I like to, like I said, I like to mention Watership Down because like that movie was messed up. I remember as a kid that thing gave me nightmares. Um, so here's a little something here that you'll see. Like looking at the pencils for this panel, obviously they're very loose pencils. I know, it's a children's book. I know it's a children's book, but I don't know if you've ever seen the movie. That damn movie gave me nightmares as a kid. You know what though? Like again, I was having this conversation with someone the other day. Uh Kids movies back in the day and kids movies now are so very, very different. Children's entertainment, when I was young, I mean, I'm in my mid-40s, so, back in the '80s and stuff, like, kids entertainment back then was it didn't really hold back. I mean, it held back a little bit, but it didn't hold back nearly as much as the stuff you see now. Like, it's just very, very different. Like, they were okay with giving you a little emotional scarring, in the idea that it would help you in the long run. Yeah, it makes you tough. Exactly, it makes you tougher. It does. Uh, that was definitely some stuff. I mean, listen, everybody talks about the horse in, what's it called? The horse in, Neverending Story in the mud, and that's bad. Trust that is a bad, bad scene. But, I don't know, watching Watership Down and watching them bunnies rip the crap out of each other and bleeding everywhere, and then they had that little black bunny of death. That was, like, it was nuts. That movie was nuts. It's so funny to think that that was a kid's movie. So what I was gonna say is looking at these pencils, obviously they're very loose. These are pencils, by the way, just so if anyone's curious. I did these pencils probably a couple of years ago at this point. Um, they were originally meant to be layouts, and I got carried away. Um, yeah, Bambi's mom dies, but she dies off screen. Like, it's not like you see her getting blasted with the bullet. You don't see, like, the bullet going through her neck and her bleeding out and then them dragging her off and, like, tying her to the roof of the car and driving her back to the house and gutting her and all that stuff. I think that would be a problem. It's, the one thing I will say is though, even more recently, The only ones who still kinda wanted to give you that little traumatic moment was some of the Pixar movies, I mean, the first 10 minutes of Up are probably some of the most heart-wrenching stuff you'll ever see, and then, the beginning of Finding Nemo, um, the begin that was Bambi too? Did you have you ever it's completely off top well, it's not off topic, but if you've ever seen there was a sketch, I think it was an SNL sketch, which is ironic that it was actually funny. It wasn't so much a sketch as it was one of their, like, pre-recorded video things, and it was when The Rock was on. I don't know if it was the first time he was on or whatever, but there's a thing that they did. They did a Bambi 2. They made, like, a movie trailer for a Bambi 2, and The Rock played Bambi, and he was out for revenge. It's actually genuinely pretty funny because it's just, like, ridiculously over the top crazy. Um, so like I was saying, I did these pencils a while ago. I don't particularly love necessarily these pencils anymore. That's what happens. And that's what I get for leaving the pencils loose. But what's beautiful about working this way, at least for me, is I can just pop onto the layer here that I call digital pencils, and then I can slide my color over, get a nice blue or something, or whatever, and then I can go in here and I can mess around a little bit and just kind of fix. The layers hidden. There we go. Just kind of fix if I don't like the shape or something along those lines. I can go in and I can mess around with it and clean it up. And I've done this, and I've actually on a couple of pages I've actually completely redrawn panels because I just going back to it wasn't thrilled with the original pencils. I didn't think they really held up. Um, so what I ended up doing was like redrawing the entire panel. It's definitely something that, is nice to have that ability. It's one of the nice things about working digitally. I was definitely a holdout about working digitally, but in the end, it really just works out, and I think it just makes work faster. Hey, I mentioned him earlier. Here's RC Gates is in the chat. What's up, RC? How are you? Yeah, so one of the nice, like I said, I like that I can kind of go in and mess around and change things that I maybe I liked at one time, but now I'm not thrilled with, or something that maybe my skill level just wasn't there at one time. I mean, we're always improving, and that's the beauty is we're always working to get better. Like I don't like that. I can change that. Bring that down a little more. There we go. Yeah, so I mean, it's kind of cool that I can do that. I can go in. I've done it with some, like with the leopards. If I show you like one of the, I think it might be the previous page to this. Um, I hated the leopard shape. Like I goofed on the head shape of the leopard, and I went back and I looked for some reference. And one of the, what a nice thing you can do here is you can do this, and you can bring up like reference. So like I wanted the shape. Um, I just didn't like the head shape on one of the panels I did, so I went in and I just pulled up some reference, and it's nice that you can do that on here, and you can do all kinds of stuff with it and check it out and mess with it, which is nice. It's convenient. Yeah, well, it's the first time anyone's watching me draw on stream. I've never drawn on stream before. I figured I would give it a shot. Everybody else does it. So, I get very antsy about it. I feel like I'm performing. Although I have to say, honestly, it's been pretty good so far. I mean, I've been going for a half an hour and just kind of chilling. Honestly, like it's feeling pretty good. Like I said, I got a little Bob Ross going before. I was just kind of talking like this and doing my thing, and um, So yeah, so the nice thing is, like, I can do that, and I could just stick with the original, I could do that, I could do that, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's nice, and like I said, I've actually just completely wiped entire panels because I just decided I just did not like the panel, so I redid the entire bloody thing and went from there. For some of them, it was just a matter of I didn't think it was dynamic enough. For others, it just didn't like the way I just didn't, just something about it I didn't like, so I wanted to change it up. Um, and that's gonna happen, and it's especially coming back to pencils that you did like a while back, like you're definitely gonna notice things that you just don't like and wanna change. Um, or see if you wanna hop in, like you feel free. I'll shoot you a link. You can hop in. In fact, I didn't think I did I? I meant to do that before, actually. Let me see. Hold on. Click on. Yeah, it's actually been pretty. It's almost therapeutic, which is kind of weird because I'm the one doing the drawing. I don't know if I would draw straight. Like I don't know if I would do pencils and inks. All right, RC, I just sent you the link. Um, yeah, I don't know if I would do. Yeah, you did message me on Twitter. I just saw it when I sent you the link. Um, yeah, I don't know if I would do pencils and like the entire process on a stream because I feel like when I'm doing the early part of a drawing. Hello.
Hello, hello.
How's it going?
It's going good. So what did I miss?
Well, you missed the answer to how much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood. Do you know what the answer is?
No, I have no idea.
A woodchuck would chuck as much wood as a woodchuck could if a woodchuck could chuck wood.
Oh goodness.
Now you know.
Yes, now
It's
I
as,
do.
it's as simple as that.
I
That was
did.
funny.
Let's see.
Like I let you in and it automatically just popped me back on the screen too. That's kind of funny.
Hmm. I'm gonna ask the same question that K.A. Shook asked. What program is this?
Metabang.
Oh, cool.
It's Metabang Paint on the iPad Pro.
Cool.
Um, yeah, no, it's like I like it. I was talking about that for before, like, I know a lot of people swear by uh Procreate, a lot of people swear by Clip Studio, and I like Clip Studio, I just don't like the subscription.
Yeah, I'm one of the Procreate guys, so I'm definitely on board with the no subscription part.
Yeah, well, that's one of the things. I mean, that was why when I got the iPad, one of the first things I did was buy Procreate,
Same
and
here.
I'm just not like, yeah.
I was hearing I popped in whenever you guys were talking about Bambi's mom and like traumatic childhood experiences.
Yeah, well, I was saying how, like, man, this screen is getting, like, funky, isn't it? Um, what's it called? I was talking about, the story of the comic and how it's like I said it was kinda like a mixture of, uh well, at one point I settled on kind of it's a mixture of, like, The Lion King and Watership Down or, like, John Wick and The Lion King or something
Oh
like
my.
so,
That's
like
interesting. That's an
yeah, so
interesting combo.
we kinda, like we started talking about that, and then we were talking about I don't know if you've ever seen Watership Down,
I have not.
the movie, but, like, oh, man, is that thing disturbing, especially when you're a kid.
I've seen it on the list of disturbing children's movies, but I
It
haven't
well, it
actually seen it.
it definitely is that. I'm gonna see if I can get this screen to, stop being so trippy. why
Can you
it's
make
doing
it
that.
full screen and take us off the screen?
Yeah, that didn't help.
Oh goodness.
All right, hold on. I'm gonna stop sharing for a second and see if I bring it back. Maybe if it'll, because it's in order to do the, yeah, it's just the screen itself on this stupid program. The problem
Oh
is
goodness.
in order to share the screen from the iPad, you have to kind of like you have to mirror it
Hmm.
on your PC.
You have
So it's
a PC and not a Mac, right?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I mean, it
Because
worked.
I have a
It was work.
Mac and I plug mine in with like a little
Yeah,
like USB to whatever the fuck this is
right.
kind of cable. So I can't really say that I have that same problem, but I can understand that problem.
Yeah. Well, it like I said, it it was working pretty good for a while. Let me see if maybe I'll just close it and then the software that I'm using, because you have to mirror it, unless maybe actually maybe if I could just do, I'll just stop mirroring for a second on the iPad and then start it up again in a minute. It's listen, these are the hoops you got to jump through sometimes.
Oh, definitely. There's always hoops you got to jump through.
Uh, well, it's funny because um I don't know why StreamYard won't let you share your screen from an iPad or something.
It
Like
doesn't let
it
you?
just no. It used to. When it first
Hmm.
launched, you could do it because I remember trying it and it worked. It literally doesn't even give you the option anymore.
Hmm. That's interesting. Because what I've done for my draw streams is I pull up my iPad in QuickTime and then I share the QuickTime
Right.
movie.
Right, because you're doing it on a Mac.
Hmm.
And that's yeah.
Again,
If I
one of
was
the
using
one of those software changes between the Mac and PC.
yeah, if I was using I actually have a Mac upstairs. If I was using that, I mean it's old, but if I was using that, it might work. I don't know. It's so old it might not work.
I don't know, how old is it? Is it like 2016 or older?
It's old.
Oh goodness.
Yeah, it's old. I'm still running Snow Leopard on it. Yeah.
Oh my. Since you had the screen like this, I'm pretty sure you couldn't see how wide my eyes got with that one. Good lord, holy mackerel!
Yeah, I'm still running
That does
Snow
bring it
Leopard.
around to our talking about animals, though.
Yes. The only reason I actually still have it running Snow Leopard is because I have um Final Cut 4 on there and Final Cut Pro 4, and if I go anything beyond Snow Leopard, it won't work anymore.
I've
And
had
like
that happen with a lot of my software whenever Mac
I just
upgraded their stuff.
yeah, I just don't want to spend it was different because I used to use Final Cut professionally. So like I didn't mind like when I first bought it and I had to spend however many hundreds of dollars it was on the software.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like I didn't mind that at the time. Adding like we bought the computer. We bought the iMac, and then we bought like I spent another. I just literally just added it on when I bought the piece the Mac. Um, and it was like I don't know, it was like another like $400 or something. But at that point, I was already spending how much for the freaking Mac? Like, I didn't even care anymore. Like, I was like, I was like, this is what I need it for. Like, let's just do it. Um, but that's what I was doing. I was doing that for a living. I was video editing for a living. So, um, I didn't mind it. But now, like, I'm not gonna go buy Final Cut X. Um, and upgrade to whatever the hell they're at now. I don't even know what they're at anymore. Um, they
Some sort
stopped
of
using
Final Cut.
well, no, not even it's Final Cut X, but I mean, like, I don't know what operating system they're on now. I know they stopped
Uh,
using Animals. They went from I think it
oh,
was Snow Leopard.
for MacBooks and stuff.
Yeah, when they went from Snow Leopard, I think they went to Lion, and then after that, they ended up doing like Yosemite or something. Like they started using like national parks or something.
Yep, right now they're on Catalina
Okay.
because I just
I've
went to
been
my my settings in my own computer and I was like, okay, this
uh
is what they're on.
yeah,
But even that,
I'm
it's with like a crap ton of upgrades because like
I'm very
my MacBook is a 2016 and I've had
okay.
to upgrade the storage. I've had to replace the battery several times,
Oh,
upgrade the
really?
RAM. So this is probably like the most tricked out computer that I'm going to have.
Uh-huh.
And all of it is just to keep upgrading so I don't have to get a new one.
Yeah. Well, listen, I mean, that's what it is. Like you just have to like especially cuz Macs are expensive, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the problem. Like I loved my Mac, but like the damn things are so friggin' expensive.
Any of the Apple stuff is extremely expensive.
Mhm. Well, that's why this is a refurbished iPad.
That makes sense.
Although I will say, if you're gonna buy a refurbished iPad, get it from Apple. Because that's what I did. I got it. I got a refurbed 20 I want to say 2018 um 12.9-inch iPad Pro, and when you get it from Apple, they actually take like the one that they get back, they open it up, they put a brand new battery inside, they change the glass, and then they send it out to you. So essentially, it's like a brand new iPad.
Hmm.
The only difference is obviously you're working on like slightly older tech specs, but as far as the stuff that you're always worried about with Apple products, like you can't change the battery. Like at least
Yeah.
it's a brand new battery, so I know it's gonna last me like a while, which is nice. And it
Yeah, that
honestly
definitely makes
wasn't.
sense.
It really wasn't like price wise. It really wasn't a bad deal.
Yeah, I have my 9.7 iPad. That was from a couple years ago I actually got that, I
Uh-huh.
think. And whenever I was doing my digital art, I was finding that I wasn't having as many layers as I would hope to have. Like if I was
Okay.
gonna do like an 11 by 17 page,
Hmm.
because that's what I see a lot of people who make comics using. I see a lot of
Yeah.
them
Well,
doing
that's
the
like
11 by 17.
that's like the standard.
If I was gonna do that on my 9.7, it would only give me 7 layers.
Okay.
So that made the coloring part of that much more complicated than what I wanted it to be.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So I would watch like a lot of like Bancroft's drawing streams that he would be doing like I know that he started doing those with Rob Arnold,
Uh-huh.
and I was also looking at some of Kyle Ritter's streams about how
Hmm.
they do the flats and all that,
Right.
and how they put each one of those on a different layer.
Uh-huh.
So I was like, okay, I'm gonna need to get an upgrade for that.
Right.
So I went out and I splurged on Christmas and I got a like a 2021 1 terabyte 12.9, was it 12.9 or 12.7, whichever
Uh,
one the 12-inch
I
iPad
think it's
is.
12. I think it's 12.9 or is it 12.6? I don't know. Whatever it is, it's the same thing. I know what you mean.
Yeah, but yeah, I got one of those and I actually did the Cyberfrog fan art piece
Okay.
using that new method of putting all that stuff in individual layers.
Oh, you
And I
did?
was like,
Okay.
holy shit, this looks better than any of the stuff I've done before. So yeah, I was like, okay, that makes it worthwhile. So now I'm gonna
Uh-huh.
actually be able to make comic pages whenever I get around to that.
Yeah, I know, because I know, what's it called? Um, oh, for God's sake. Procreate, like, depending on your memory, it will only allow you to make so many layers.
It
Um,
it's more of the RAM, but it does have like the bigger memory does have more RAM to it.
right.
The 9.7 only had like 2 gigabytes of RAM, and the 12 point I think it's 12.9, and the 12.9 1 terabyte one has like 16 gigabytes of RAM, and
Uh-huh.
it's like, okay, that's gonna give me a lot of layers. It's like I have like 117 layers I can work with.
I honestly don't know how many layers I can do on this. Like, I don't know if metabaying actually will stop you. I think it might just be one of those things where they're just like, I don't know, just go until it just doesn't work. Like I don't think
Go
they
until
limit
you're
you.
running at 1 frame per minute.
Yeah, like, I don't think it stops you. I think they're just kinda like, "I don't know, go ahead."
That's how I wish Procreate was, but unfortunately, it's much more temperamental.
Yeah, I mean, there's plus and minuses to both of those
Yeah.
ideas.
All right. I was actually on a stream for about an hour before this, so I'm going to go and grab a drink, but I will be right back.
Okay, I'll be here. I do think it's good that there is, like, multiple, or that there are, I should say, not that there is, that there are multiple avenues that people can use for digital art. It's not like there's like one standard and then that's it. Like, if you don't use that, you're just, you're just screwed. Like, it doesn't like it kind of doesn't really matter as long as you get the final product the way you want it. Like, that's all that really matters, which is nice. Um I know, coming from the video world, like I said, I used to work doing video editing, and like, people are pains in the ass when it comes to that. There's a lot of people, I mean, a lot of it, thankfully it started to change. Like, people were okay with, just get me the final product. However you want, however you can. I don't really care. Just get me the final product I want, which is nice. But there was a time where they really were like, if you didn't make this on Avid, then you're not a professional. And let me tell you, Avid is a nightmare. It's what I learned on at school. It's fine. I used it at home for a while until I got the Mac and I got Final Cut, and it's just so much easier. Because Avid is just a nightmare. It's so buggy for something that was the industry standard for so many years. It is like the buggiest piece of crap. Okay. I will say one thing that happens with digital art, though. You can get really caught in the minutia. I try not to zoom too much because you get caught up in doing these little, like, nothing bits that people are never going to really see. If she's got the, yeah, that's fine. I'm thinking to myself, the leopard has a tear in her ear, on her right ear, but it's on the other side, so you wouldn't see it from this angle. Um, it's something that I have to make sure I do right. Otherwise, it's just going to blow continuity. And I know some people wouldn't notice, but I feel like if you don't pay attention to the continuity, no one else will. Like,
Continuity for what?
oh, I was just saying, like the leopard has a tear in her right ear, and it doesn't like you won't see it in this panel because it's on the other side of the ear. But I was just saying, like if you don't like, it's something I have to make sure I pay attention to because if you don't, like if I don't pay attention to it, then that's pretty ridiculous since I'm the one making it.
Yep. Then you'd get called out whenever everyone else does notice it.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, I was saying too, like the one thing I have to watch, like it's so easy to get like sucked. Hey, like, hold on, let me get in here and draw this one little bicuspid. Like you have to make sure you don't go nuts with the zooming.
Oh yeah. Yep, I've had my fair share of craziness whenever it comes to zooming.
Well, it definitely happens. You get like you zoom in so much, and then you like stuff happens that like you can't see. Oh no,
Like that happens.
it's getting funky again. I'm all messed up.
Oh goodness.
That's weird. Why does the rest of it look fine? That's really strange.
Maybe it's on a bit of a delay.
Well, it definitely is. It definitely is on a little delay, but like that's so funny that like the top, like the other three panels look absolutely fine, and now the rest of it just looks like insanity. Yes, I think I did zoom too much. Oh, now I'm gonna have to do that thing again. All right. Let me stop sharing again for a second. We'll be back after these messages.
And now a word from our sponsor, The
Oh my
Lion
god.
King.
Yeah, right. I've been listening. I did a video where I mentioned it. I've been listening to these like old radio shows.
Oh yeah, I actually watched both of those videos.
Oh, did
They're
you?
quite informative.
um, but yeah, it's so funny because like I'm listening to all these old radio shows, and I started listening to uh one of them just today on there's a station on Sirius that plays them, so I've just been like leaving that on, and
Mm-hmm.
then I decided today I started listening to it on. I found they have it on Pandora. There's a whole channel with like a whole bunch of them on there. Um, and all right, I can share this again now. And I was just laughing because it still has like some of them will have like for some reason on the radio or on like the YouTube version, like they'll have like a commercial, but like this had like all the commercials. Which was just hysterical because like the very first commercial that comes on, and they played it a couple of times. It was like I was listening to a couple of different shows and it was on there, and it was for Winston cigarettes. I was just cracking up at the idea of like this singing this jingle about like Winston tastes good like a cigarette should.
Well, the one cigarette commercial that like I'll always remember is the one where it's the one that the Flintstones did. I don't remember
Yes.
which one it is, but it's like I don't know, it just sticks with you.
Yes,
But I don't remember a
yeah.
single thing about what the brand actually was.
I
Which
don't
one was
remember
it?
the brand either, but I know it exists. That there was the whole Flintstone.
Flintstones.
It was like Fred and Barney like smoking cigarettes. Where
Yep, it
they
was
went from
Winston.
was it?
Yep.
So they went from selling cigarettes to selling vitamins.
Yeah, apparently. They had to offset.
Yeah. Imagine if they messed that up somewhere along the way. We are Flintstones, kids.
It tastes good like vitamins should.
10 million strong and smoking.
And smoking a pack.
I think I told this story somewhere. I don't remember though, but my doctor, I was hysterically laughing. I went in his office one day and I had never been in he had his own like it was his office. Like they were so crowded one day that they were literally he was seeing patients in his office. And I had never been in his office. I'd only been in like the examination rooms before. And in his office, he has like the walls covered with old cigarette ads. And he's got like old like he had old cigarette packs from like the 50s and stuff, and he had all these old ads, these old cigarette ads from the 50s and 60s and all this like, and it was hysterical how many of the ads were like 4 out of 5 doctors recommend Chesterfields or like, there was one that specifically was targeted at pregnant women. Like
Oh my.
like it was the funniest
Yeah,
thing to
I
see.
no, keep going.
No, it was just so funny to see this, like, here's all these, like, cigarette ads talking about how the doctors recommend you smoke these cigarettes, and, "Oh, smoke these ones when you're pregnant." You know?
Yeah, I seem to recall you bringing that up on one of our live streams. It was actually might have been one of the best ever live streams.
It could be. It's just so I just think it's hysterical, like and you wonder, like, could they really convince doctors to tell us to take something that's not good? I don't know, what do you think?
Nowadays, yes.
Listen, always.
It's just more notable nowadays because you have Twitter and
Well, yeah.
all these various social media places where you can actually like put that stuff out.
It was just so funny. It's just funny to see, like, they're just like doctors are just like, yeah, smoke these cigarettes. They're good. Oh, Fred Flintstone did a Bush beer commercial.
Okay,
Well,
now I need to look this up.
how did Fred get all these endorsements? And who thought that a caveman was like the best guy a cartoon caveman was the best guy to be the spokesman for your product when your product was beer and cigarettes?
Who thought a cartoon would be the best one for it all?
Oh yeah, that's a thing I will say to anybody. One thing I've picked up after doing all these pages, like I said, I'm working on page 40 here. One thing I picked up is on your layers. For me, you know how everybody has that moment of, oh crap, am I drawing on the wrong layer?
Oh, all
Um,
the time.
yeah, it happens to everybody. What I've started doing is whatever layers I'm not using at that moment, I lock so I literally can't draw on them. So, like, if I accidentally went down to layer 3, which is still visible, and, like, I tried to draw something, it's not gonna let me, and it's gonna tell me that the layer's locked.
That
Um,
is a smart idea.
well, and it's you know what it is? It's really easy. Up on the right-hand corner, I can't zoom to this part of the screen, but, up on the up like, above the layers there, you'll see, like, there's a little thing, so you can just toggle the lock on and off really easy. So,
Hmm.
it's not like it's something that takes a long time to do. It's like
Oh yeah.
it's that I would definitely recommend that to anybody who's working digitally like that when you're working with a bunch of layers, like, so you don't accidentally spend, like, 20 minutes drawing on the wrong layer and then realize, "Oh, crap, I have to do that all over again."
Yeah. Yeah, that would be a complete pain in the ass.
Yeah, it's happened. I've done it. That's why I learned. That's why I figured I would just share that little bit. The other, I mean,
Always good to put out the pointers.
the other thing. See, and now look, I just did it.
As you were talking about ways to prevent it, you did it.
But it was locked, so I didn't actually have a problem. One of the things I will say though that makes like with digital is just the undo is like the greatest thing in the history of the world when you're working digitally.
Oh, definitely. Thankfully, I haven't gotten to the point where I'm doing that whenever I do traditional drawing, like the clicking the undo button.
Uh-huh. I
That's
will
probably
say,
because I do digital more so.
you know what I did actually one time I was drawing in a sketchbook and I tried to zoom.
I did that last year.
Did you?
I had my book laying in front of me, and I was like, okay, I need to get closer to this face. Oh wait, I'm on paper.
Uh-huh. It's like that doesn't work.
And you know what I've also done? I've also tried to um like try and select something
Oh,
and realize, oh wait, I can't select anything and I can't reposition it. I'm gonna have to
uh-huh.
erase that entire thing.
Yep. Yeah, it's funny because I was talking about that early on in the stream. This panel here with the elephant, like when I originally did the pencils, um, you can see like you can see like the box, like when that disappears, you'll see it's delayed. Um, if it ever disappears.
I was gonna say it is really delayed.
Yeah, what the heck, man? Whoa, that's weird. Oh, and now we're gonna get that again.
Oh goodness.
Well, anyway, I ended up doing that
Strange
with
because
that.
all of those issues happened whenever I popped on the screen.
But what happened was the panel was like I had the elephant too big in the panel, and I eventually am gonna need uh like a word balloon above the elephant's head. So what I ended up doing was just before I even started inking, I just grabbed the pencil, like I just grabbed on the pencil because it's traditional pencils, and I just scanned it and I put it in here. But then I just grabbed it off the pencil layer and just shrunk it down, and then from there did it. I wonder if I do this. Hold on, will this work? Now it's gonna disappear. Hmm. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to do that again. Okay. What's funny now is I've been listening to the one radio show in particular more than any of the others is that one, uh, yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Uh, it's the best. I love it. He's the he's America's, what do they call it? They say he's America's fabulous freelance insurance detective with the action-packed expense account.
Oh my.
I've been listening to that like crazy, and I like now I got my wife searching, is yours truly Johnny Dollar public domain? Who owns the rights? Like, what's the for possible future knowledge? That's all.
He's gonna be like the armless tiger man. The
Yeah.
strange characters.
Oh, geez, you like roboted out there.
Oh my. Am I back?
Oh, yeah, you're back. Yeah.
Oh
So
good.
this is
I'm gonna
this
keep talking.
this is what I was talking about with the panel. Like you can see, like I shrunk it down. That's why like the ears don't even go off the page anymore, and like that because like I needed room at the top.
Mm-hmm.
So then I just, inked it. And same thing, like, it's funny, like I was saying before, I kind of have been like almost kind of like freestyling my backgrounds a lot of these. Um in some of them, not all of them, but like if you look at like the zebra panel, like if I take away the inks, the background is literally just like, I mean, it's kind of light, but it's a hint of a background. And then like when I actually ink, that's when I actually put the real like figure out like the real background. It's because I'm drawing in
Hmm.
nature. If I was drawing like buildings and stuff, I would definitely be a lot tighter with the pencils on the backgrounds.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But because
It's like
it's, you know,
I actually have, like, in that cyberfog piece that I was working on, I have him on like a smoke tower, like a smokestack,
uh-huh.
and there's two buildings on the side, and in the background, I put nothing until I went to the coloring stage. And
Okay.
I actually have a brush for like distant buildings, and there's like stamps
Oh,
that you can
okay.
put in. So I put those, I just threw those in and added like a slight blur to them. So now it looks like there's a city behind them.
That's cool.
So it's definitely good to have that freestyling experience.
Yeah. I mean, it's not, if the setting is not like super like crucial to establish every little bit,
Hmm.
then like I feel like it's a little easier to kind of do that. Not that it's
Oh yeah,
easier, but like, it just works. Like you can do that.
yeah. And you're drawing something that's sort of like in the Sahara, right? Well, not Sahara. Good lord, that'd be like the desert. Um,
Yeah.
what's the
It's you're thinking Savannah, that's what you're thinking of.
Savannah? Yeah, 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 yeah. I knew it was something that started with an S. Geography
Yeah,
was not my strong point.
it's um it's actually like it's actually South Africa is where this takes place. And specifically, I said this before, like at the beginning of the stream, like it's specifically if anyone's really interested and wants to be a real like stickler about it, it's specifically in uh South Africa in the area of the Greater Kruger National Park, and all except for one of the animals that you'll see in this are very common in that area. Uh there's one character who's way more common in places like Kenya, in like the Mara, where it's way more open savanna. Um, there's just, but I just like that one, so I wanted it in here for a reason. So, so that one, it's actually called a secretary bird, um,
Hmm.
which is a weird name, but like it's got this cool like headdress kind of thing. But the reason why I really wanted it in the story is because of the way it hunts. It's a big bird, like it's a good sized bird, and not like as big as an ostrich or anything, but like it's a good sized bird, and it has these long legs. And what it does is it walks around, and when it sees prey as it's walking around, it takes its foot essentially and kind of balls it up into a fist and just punches down and like knocks it out and then just takes it and eats it.
Hmm.
Like it literally punches. It just knocks people out. Well, not people, but
I mean, it might knock out like a small toddler.
but it fits in with the story because in part of the story is the mongoose training with all these different types of animals. Yes. Yeah, some of them have even, like, crazier hair on their heads, I mean, feathers really, not hair, on their
Oh,
heads,
I've saw them. They look like they have bedhead.
yeah, yeah. They just look kinda crazy, and they walk around and they just punch shit. Like like, that's what they do. They just, like, walk around and just punch things. Like, I was like, "This I need this. This needs to be in my book." Like, look at him, he's about to punch that snake, like, that's what he's gonna do. He's just gonna haul off and just nail that sucker.
Ground and pound.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, they're funky birds, and saw them, and I was like, yeah, that's. And then when I found out how they hunt, I'm like, yeah, I need him in there.
But of course.
He's the mongoose, like I said, he learns different skills from different animals, and that's what this whole sequence is here. This is the leopard is teaching him how leopards hunt, because he's trying to learn these skills so that he can get his revenge.
Okay.
He is attempting to get revenge against his family. Was killed in the very beginning. His family gets slaughtered. And so he's attempting to kind of throw the laws of nature on its head and get revenge. Um, so while there are certain things that are kind of like true to nature, obviously the overall premise is not. And some of the things that he learns and eventually ends up doing obviously are not things that a mongoose would be able to do.
Yeah.
one of the big one of the biggest problems being mongoose don't have thumbs, so they have
I would
paws. They don't
imagine
have
that would severely limit what you could do.
right. So you'll notice he does have thumbs. Sorry. It's a comic book. But yeah, he winds up getting lessons from several different animals, learning several different things because oh shit, that sucked. Because he needs to learn because he's a mongoose. He's not that big. He's actually a dwarf mongoose. So he's which is a species. It's a type of mongoose that they have there, and he obviously is not going to be able to take on like hyenas or anything. Just you know animal to animal, they would rip him apart.
Yeah.
So he has to learn some skills, and he's attempting to get revenge on both a pack of hyena and a crocodile. So
Hmm.
will he
I
be
can
able
see
to
where
do
the
it?
John Wick influence comes in.
Yeah, will he be able to do it, or will he get ripped to shreds in the
Or will
process?
this be a one shot?
Well, it is meant to just be a standalone story. I don't have any plans for any sequels. Hey, Sean Davis is here. He said, "Yo, yo, yo, what's up, Sean? How are you?" For people who don't know, Sean is the creator, along with his son, of Pillowman and Blanket Boy. If you have not read that, you definitely owe it to yourself to track it down. I know he's working on the new one, and the first one was fantastic. So you definitely owe it to yourself to go. I don't know if you can still get the original or if you're gonna have to wait for his next campaign, but I definitely would recommend it. All right, now here comes the fun part when you're drawing a leopard.
All the extra
When you
spots.
all the spots. Which is it's actually kind of funny because leopards don't actually have spots. Here's a little something, little factoid for people. Uh, leopards have what are called rosettes. Um, cheetah have solid spots. Leopards, they actually do have some solid spots, like usually like on their face, but all the big stuff like all over their body, they're called rosettes. They're like they have an opening in the middle, and they're not always it's not like they're full circles either. They're not always connected all around, but they're not just solid black spots. Cheetahs, however, do have solid black spots. And Sean said the original is for sale through Starcross Comics. So there you go. You actually can get the original still. So I would definitely recommend that to anybody out there watching. Pillowman and Blanket Boy is definitely well worth it. And if you're curious, I did do a review of it, so you can track it down on my channel. Go through my comics review playlist and see if you can find it. Um, yeah, no, I genuinely, truly enjoyed that book. and I'm looking forward to the follow up. And Sean's a lot like me. He's a dad, and he stepped away from art. He always wanted to do it and stepped away from it for a long time, and then came back to it. And I dare say he is a better artist than I, but but I'm not worried about saying that. I'm not too proud to say something like that. And God knows his backgrounds. He was doing lots of cities. And I remember his frustration while he was doing it. I remember seeing his posts on Twitter going, "Why did I just set this in a giant city?"
I'm going to be working on something set in a futuristic giant city, so you can imagine my enthusiasm when it comes to that.
Well, it's so funny, like, we're writing our own stories. Why do we do this to ourselves?
Oh, I'll do you one better. In the second, I'm working on the scripts right now. On the second book in that series, it is it takes place at like a gala party. So there's going to be multiple people in the backgrounds, and it's going to be a pain in the ass. And I'm like, why did I put this in the second book?
Yes, Sean wrote, "I hate cityscape, but my son loves to torture me." Yeah, that's one thing I think, honestly, like, after doing this now, doing all this, like, I think every one of my books is just gonna be set in, like, the jungle or something.
Even when it has nothing to do with the jungle, it's just going to be set in the jungle.
Yep. Even if it makes no sense. It could be said it's gonna be set in, like, 1920s New York City, but for some reason, they're in a jungle.
I mean, it could be like an alternate universe type of New York where New York is a jungle.
Well, actually, there is one way to do it. I'm not gonna do this, but there is one way to do it. Make it all talking animals all the time. It'll be like Tailspin, you know?
I actually would not mind that one bit. Because Tailspin is part of the Disney Afternoon, which I think they should bring back the originals.
Yeah, I mean, it's all that stuff is on Disney Plus, um, I think. Um,
I have the DVDs for it, so.
Sean said, "I want all of mine set in the desert."
Oh,
I
the
saw
desert would be so easy.
I know. I saw somebody post the other day. It was, like, 3 different characters, and they were just on, like, a white background, and they were like, I forget what they said exactly, but they were like, "That's it. The hell with it. All my characters live in a plain white universe. There is no background."
I think I may have seen that. Yeah, whenever I was working on the Cyberfrog piece, I was like, now I have a new appreciation for how much time Ethan puts into his work because even working with all of the like machinery that's on Cyberfrog is
Uh-huh.
just like, oh, good lord, I can't imagine having to put this in for like 5 panels per page and then also have to add in the reflections on that metal.
Uh-huh. Yeah, no, it's like the Cyberfrog design is, like, insane when you really look at it. Like, when you're just looking at it and you're just like, "Oh, that's cool." But then when you, like, if you actually try to draw it, you realize, like, "Oh god, this is a nightmare."
Mm-hmm. It's like there's like different there like the lines are go differently for each section of his mechanics or like cyber frogisms. What the fuck is it called? And I don't know. I'm just gonna go with mechanics. And it's just like
Um,
it's a whole new meaning for crazy designs.
Yeah, this is the other thing when you're drawing like certain animals, like getting the whiskers. Just damn it, that's got to go behind that freaking leaf too. Like that's the stuff that'll just drive you insane when you're doing animals. And like because I love animals so much, I feel like I have to do them like at least like
Accurately.
yeah, at least like semi accurately at least, you know.
Oh
So I
wow.
try like
Yep, you're definitely doing it accurately. I would have completely forgotten those little like eyebrow parts.
oh, the whiskers up there, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely like, you know, I have actually I could show well, it's funny like with the elephant, right? Like I didn't go nuts on the elephant, but like I think the elephant looks good.
It
Um
definitely does.
but like I didn't go insane. Like I could have gone completely nuts and tried to draw like if you ever look at the skin of an elephant, it's got like little cracks and crevices like everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And like I could have done that, but like it is still a comic book. Like we do have to rely on people to use a little of their imagination. I'm not doing a photograph.
You're not doing like an Alex Ross piece.
Yeah, exactly. Like it is still a traditional comic book. It is pen and ink and like that's, you know. But yeah, it's definitely like a little wild like cuz you can make yourself go nuts with details. Um it's funny because there's times when I'll look at some drawings and I really do appreciate like the illusion of detail, I guess is the best way to put it. Um where it looks like it's very detailed, but then the closer you look at it, you realize there's not as much detail as you thought there was. Especially in the backgrounds of like buildings and things like that. Like, you know, I can kind of I really appreciate the like it looks like no, this is a city, but then when you really break it down, you're like, that's just a bunch of rectangles. It's like not even anything like detailed. There's no windows on those buildings. Like, what is it like? And yet you still can look at it and go like, this is a city. You know,
Uh-huh.
um, it definitely gives me an appreciation for that kind of stuff. And I also love the uh, the Jack Kirby trick when you're drawing a scene in the city where, like, if you've got like, especially like a big splash page or something, like set put a big building in the foreground so that way it cuts off like half of the page so that you don't have to draw anything behind that part.
I'm gonna keep that in mind. Definitely
Like
gonna keep that in mind.
that's one of the ways he was able to draw as many pages a month as he did. I don't remember where I saw that, but I remember seeing that somewhere. Like
I believe it.
that was a Kirby trick. I also it's funny because I've gone through a couple of different ways since I've been doing these of doing trees,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like every time I see a new somebody else's version of how they do trees, I'm like, oh, that looks cool. I should try that. I'm like, I gotta just stick with one. Like I can't have every tree look completely different.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that. It's like there would be a point where it's like, why is there a palm tree in the middle of savannah?
Well, it's not even that. It's just it's the bark of the tree. It's like looking at how
Mm-hmm.
they draw like the tree trunk itself, like the way people do it. Um, you know, it's like everybody's got their own way of doing it. And I've seen some that are like super detailed and some that are not even close to detailed and, you know, some that again give that illusion of detail.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
Like and
all
it
with the illusion part of it.
Like I have actually oh yeah, they are down here. I have not that, that's a sketchbook. I have volume 1 and 2 of these. Hold on, let me just take that off for a second. I have
Oh yeah,
volume
yeah.
1 and 2 of these, the How to Think When You Draw books. They're really good.
I actually follow them on Instagram. I have a
Yeah,
lot
I
of their
follow
stuff
them.
saved on there.
Yeah, they're really good stuff, and it's nice to have the books because it's easy reference. Like you can just pick out different things. Like they break it down. Like obviously they've got like character design and stuff, but for me, it's more worth it for like the the background stuff. Like they do a lot of
Mhm.
cool stuff with layout and composition and that kind of stuff too, but like the background stuff is invaluable. Like when you're trying to figure out like how do I draw like I want to draw this plant or I want to draw this rock. Like and they've got these like really great ways of showing you how to do it. Um like yeah, like here's just a whole bunch of rocks. Like I mean, but they also talk about like the theory of how to draw them, like the way you would
Mhm.
build it up first and then you put in, doing the details. Um, but like you've got tree bark, like there's all kinds of stuff. Like they're really good books. I would absolutely recommend them. The biggest problem is well, first of all, they're nice, like hardcover. They're really beautifully, like really well made. Um,
Those are how to think when you draw.
yeah, yeah. They
I'm
are
actually
I
gonna look
think
those up right now.
I think they're up to volume 4 now. I never did get volume 3. The only problem is they are expensive and they're coming from overseas. Um, I think because they're in the UK.
Mhm.
Uh, but they're really good and they're really like handy to have around to just kind of even when you're just practicing stuff, like if you're just drawing to just like try to figure something out, it's nice
Mhm.
to get the like I don't know, I kinda wanna draw, like, these plants or these trees or these rocks or whatever, and you just kinda, like, go through it and get an idea, and you're like, "Y that's the kind of plant that would be here." Like, they even talk about, like, where these things would be and how you would see them, and it's really cool stuff. Like, if they didn't even have the sections on, like, composition or character or any of that stuff, they would still be worth it to me, at least.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely.
Like, they're just really
Now
good.
I just need to figure out where I would get to those books. I know that they were on Kickstarter, weren't they?
Yes. And I'm sure they'll do another one at some point. Um, I think they just did one for volume 4. But they also do a series, and I haven't seen these, but they do a series of how to think when you write. Um,
I have
and
seen
I
their posts for that on Instagram occasionally.
and I think whenever they do a campaign for one of them, all of the books are available on the campaign. So, like, if even if the next campaign they do is for a how to think when you write book, if you're not interested in that one, you just want the drawing books, they usually have a tier you can just go in and get whatever ones you need. So eventually I'll get in there and I'll get volume 3 and then volume 4, I think they just did. So I'll probably end up getting them both at some point. But they're really good, honestly. Like they're some of my favorite how to draw books. They're probably the ones I reference the most at this point. Um, the only other one I think I've referenced more would be How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way, or maybe like one of my How to Draw Manga books that I've gotten over the years. Um, not those really really bad ones. Like I've seen those really really
Not the
bad
ones
ones.
by people who have obviously not drawn manga.
No, in fact I have a couple of them here. I
That's
mean
actually
these
a
ones.
stream that we should do, and I know that you've brought this up to me, or we should just look through the books that we have.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I mean like these ones.
Okay.
The ones that were made in Japan.
I've looked at getting some of those, but it always ended up being that they were too expensive.
Well, I got them a million years ago when they weren't super expensive.
Good point. Good point.
I got them when they were brand new, like, when they had just come out. Or at least when they had, just come out here. Obviously, I'm sure
Yeah.
they came out, you know. But that's when I got those. I got those ages ago. Um, I don't even remember where the hell I got them from. I'm trying to remember. I think I got one of them. I don't even. I think I might have gotten one in like a bookstore, like like a Walden Books or something, like
Hmm.
a million years ago. But I don't. I'm pretty sure I got the rest of them like. If it was online, it was real early days of online.
I've gotten some books from like Barnes and Noble or like half price books.
But yeah, like I got those. That was like manga was still not like a big thing here in the States when I got those. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, it
Mm-hmm.
was here, obviously, but it wasn't like it is now.
Yeah.
Like it was more of a novelty at that time.
It was a much more niche subject than what it is now.
Yes. And I will say, because I have a bunch of them, I will say I've looked and some of the later ones, the quality definitely dropped from the early ones to like the later versions that came out for not the later versions, but like the later volumes that came out. Like
Yeah.
the quality definitely dips at a certain point. I'm not sure when along the timeline it happens, but there's a point where it really like it goes from like, wow, this is really good stuff. And they're literally like reprinting panels from like famous manga to all of a sudden being like, oh, who drew this?
It's probably whenever it was starting to get popular among American audiences.
Probably.
They're like, "Oh, we don't need to try that hard."
Yeah. They're like, what do these kids know? They don't know. Please. They're like, they saw Dragon Ball once. They'll be fine.
Ain't that the truth? It's like, "Oh, this person has it's over 9,000 meme." That's pretty much all they know. Okay.
It's funny how like there were like sort of I don't know, there was like stuff like specific manga that like or like anime that blew up and then like there was like nothing for a while and then all of a sudden it happened again and like everything was Naruto. Like it was all like everyone was Naruto running everywhere and like like that became a thing.
And then everyone started to try to run into to Naruto run into Area 51, and then that sort of
Yes.
killed it.
Well, it's funny, like, I've seen soccer players and stuff, like, score a goal, and then they'll, like to celebrate, they'll Naruto run, like, across the field. Like, it's just it's the most random
I
thing,
almost
but, like,
wonder if they even know what they're doing, or if they've just seen people do it.
who knows? Who knows? Because that definitely happens. People just pick up on things and they don't even know where they came from.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, god, by the way, have you completely different topic, but did you see the any of the still images from the new episode of the Book of Boba Fett?
Oh, you mean the Book of Power Rangers?
Yeah, with the Mighty Morphin Power Scooters. Like, oh my god. What the hell?
Someone was smoking something, and it wasn't a good something.
It wasn't Winston's, that's for sure.
No, it definitely was not.
It's so bad. It's so bad.
It's like, okay, you have the land speeders that you have from like Return of the Jedi. What the fuck is this thing?
The crazy part is you've even got you even have like speeder bikes from Return of the Jedi. You've got speeder bikes from the prequels. Like those, speeder bikes have existed forever.
Mm-hmm.
Why are they riding Star Wars Vespas? Like
I
that's
was
what they're riding.
literally just about to say that exact same thing. I was literally going to call them the Star Wars version of Vespas.
Like, are they?
They're gonna pull their like soy lattes out from their back pockets and be like, "So, what are you offended by today?"
Or, or one of them's gonna start singing the song from the Lizzie McGuire movie while they're riding around Tatooine. Like I don't know if you've ever seen the Lizzie McGuire movie.
Nope. I'm just
I've actually
picturing any of those morons just trying to sing a song while they're riding around on those freaking retarded, stupid thing.
I've actually seen the movie a few times because my daughter loves it. Um, Lizzie's in Italy and she gets mistaken because she looks, of course, naturally, she looks exactly like this Italian pop star. And of course, and there's this guy Paolo who's like another Italian pop star, and he's driving her around the city on his little scooter. And like that's all I'm thinking. I see those scooters, and I'm just thinking like they're just like I want to take the music from the Lizzie McGuire movie and just put it over clips of these clowns riding around on those things.
Oh my.
And did you see what they were dressed like? What the characters were dressed like? They look like they came out of like an H&M ad or something.
Yeah. I know that there's a lot of people that were saying, okay, so there's Hollisters on Tatooine
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
It's like, at least make it a hot topic. Good lord.
Yeah, it's like utterly ridiculous. Like they're just not even trying. Like it just looks like honestly like they're just literally they just gave up. And
Oh,
they're
they
just like,
gave up
I
a
don't know.
long time ago.
Yeah, and no, I mean they did, but like at least they tried to act like they didn't. Now they're not even pretending.
Yeah, the mask is slipping.
And I don't know if that thing I saw are actual frames or if it's just somebody goofing around because I won't know unless somebody tells me it's true, but I think it actually is real with the Rancor where he like pets the Rancor and like feels bad for it and like
Oh yeah, it's actually true.
what the hell?
It's pretty much the same thing that I say for a lot of things nowadays. It's like, what the hell? And then general apathy.
Well, that's just it. Like I honestly like I literally don't know which of it is real and which of it isn't because I'm not watching it and I'm not going to watch it because I have no interest in ruining it. Well, first of all, I just have no interest in Star Wars anymore. But like,
Mm-hmm.
you literally took the like, if you were gonna, if you were to ask me, if you would have put me in charge of this stuff and would have said, what projects are we gonna do, what projects are we not gonna do? First of all, when somebody came to me and said we're gonna do we're gonna do Solo, I would say no, we're not, because nobody cares. Nobody wants to hear more about Han Solo. Nobody wants to see young Han Solo. Yes, I know everybody loved Young Indiana Jones Chronicles. This is not that. We're not doing it. I just would have said, no, we're not doing it. Nobody cares. Nobody wants that. And then if they would have come to me and said, we're going to do a Boba Fett show and he's going to crawl out of the Sarlacc and he's going to take over Jabba's criminal empire. Well, first of all, Jabba's empire still exists after he died. And two, no, because one of the things that makes Boba Fett cool is his mystery, the fact that he's mysterious. That's what part of what makes these characters cool. Once you start telling us everything about them, you ruin the mystery and you take away the cool factor.
Mm-hmm.
Stop explaining everything. Just stop. Like, we don't need it. The only
Stop ruining all these classic characters.
the only thing I would have said I would say yes to if they came to me, it would have been, "Hey, we're gonna do Obi-Wan." I would have said, "Okay, that we can do." Because everybody loves Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan, and, like, there's plenty of time there's a huge time frame to work with. So, yeah, fine, let's do that. And Ewan McGregor wanted to do it, so I'd have been like, "Yeah, let's do that." But I would have
Mm-hmm.
done that, like, 4 years ago.
Yeah, I could see
Like,
that.
truthfully, that probably would have been the first project I would have greenlit. Like, once we got once we took over Star Wars, like, that would have definitely been one of, if not the first projects I would have said, "Yeah, we're doing an Obi-Wan." I probably would have said we're gonna do an Obi-Wan movie, not a series,
Yeah.
but I understand everything they're doing in their entire business just revolves around Disney Plus at this point, so whatever.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I'm just not I don't know. I can't even get, like, angry about it. I just shake my head and just like, "What?" Like, when I see
Yeah.
the new things.
Oh, it is pretty much just all apathy. It's like, okay, do whatever you want. We're just gonna laugh at you while you do it.
Yeah, pretty much.
You are giving us more content. Bring us more content.
But I will not I flat out refuse to be one of these people who, you know, "Oh, cancel Disney Plus," and then I'm gonna review everything that comes out on Disney, watch it all and review it all from my channel. I'm not doing that. Like,
Yeah.
no. Like, not gonna do that.
Yeah, that was one of the reasons why I ended up just like I ended up just doing like full comic skate stuff and not really relying on like fandom menace hashtag because it's
Uh-huh.
like everyone is just doing the same old stuff and just complaining about it.
Well, that's just it. Like, and listen, I get it. Making movies is way harder, takes a lot more money. Um, it takes a lot more people, a lot more money. It's a much more difficult thing to do. So I understand, like, it's not the same thing. You can't, not just every schmo out there could create their own movie industry. Like, that's just not going to
Mm-hmm.
happen. We can create comic books, yes.
Oh yeah.
So I do understand that that's easier. To do the comics is easier. Not that doing comics is easy, but you know what I mean. Um,
It's easier, not easy.
right. Um, but at some point, when do you just say, like, enough is enough? I'm not going to give them the views. I just don't care. I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the thing I don't quite understand about that whole thing is, like, when do you just eventually say, like, let's just move on?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just complaining about every new thing that they make, let's go find some other stuff. Let's go find some actual good stuff and let's talk about that and let's promote that.
Yeah.
And listen, that might mean you have to do what I've been doing and go back in time and start watching old shit or reading old stuff and listening to old radio shows or whatever the case may be. I'm not saying everyone has to go listen to old radio shows. Do whatever you want. Like, whatever you like go watch old movies. They're still there. You can still watch them. They're still good. If they were good then, they're still good now. Like,
Oh yeah.
watch movies, watch old movies, watch old TV shows, like anything to just kind of get out of that cycle of every new thing, talk about their new thing, which is exactly what they want. That's why
Mm-hmm.
they antagonize people because they want them to talk about it. They're still operating on that mindset of we need the outrage marketing because it's free marketing for us. So we anger a bunch of people, then they jump on online and they talk about our thing nonstop, even if they're complaining about it. Doesn't matter. They're still talking about it. That's what they want. And that's why, like, I thought that whole thing was hysterical where the one guy was like he posted the screen grab of the female one of the scooter bike gang and, was like, "Oh, the nerd bros are gonna get so mad when they see this character, blah, 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 blah," and literally no one cared.
Yeah, now they're more upset about the stupid as fuck motorbike things that they have.
R and the funny thing is I don't even see people being angry about the stupid scooters, I just see people laughing about how
Yeah,
bad it is.
yeah. I phrased it incorrectly. It's more of just like, haha, you look stupid.
Yeah, like, that's the thing, like, I don't even see people mad anymore, people just laughing. They're just like, "This is dumb. What the hell is this?"
Hmm. There's actually a video on TikTok that I saw where they literally played the Power Rangers theme song over top them getting onto their little Vespas.
Well, you know what I loved? There was one that was great. It was, did you ever watch Seinfeld?
No, I can't say I have.
There's an episode where, Kramer and George I don't remember why other than the fact that George was just lazy and Kramer was nuts, and they decided that they were going to get, like, mobility scooters. And so, like, somebody just posted, like, they were responding to, like, a clip of the show, and they just put the clip of George and Kramer. They had, like, a low speed scooter, like, rascal scooter chase on the streets on the sidewalks of Manhattan at one point in the episode, and, like, that's what they were showing, like, as a response to the scooters in Star Wars. It just made me laugh. I was like, "That's funny."
Let's see, what was another one I saw? Oh, they superimposed Pee Wee Herman's face over all of them. Oh my.
Is there scooter in the basement of the Alamo?
Maybe.
Well, did you ever see Pee-wee's Big Adventure?
I think I made it through like the first 5 minutes, and then everyone who I was watching it with was like, "Okay, we're gonna do something else."
Oh, that movie's a classic. But yeah, he gets his bike stolen, and then they tell him it's in the basement of the Alamo.
I don't think I got to that part.
And then it turns out there is no basement in the Alamo. Speaking of like, we were talking before you came on, we were talking about like movies from the old like the 80s and stuff that like how kids movies were like not afraid to traumatize the audience back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And like so of course we brought up Neverending Story, but like we were talking about a few different things, but that reminds me like Pee-wee's Big Adventure, the scene where he gets picked up by Large Marge,
I
the
have seen that
trucker.
scene, yeah.
Like, that was horrifying when I was a kid.
I'm trying to think of what movies were like terrifying for me as a kid. That's gonna require some thinking. Hmm.
Well, I remember I was telling my daughter the other day, actually, like, when I was a kid, when Gremlins first came out, the first Gremlins, um, we went to see that in the theater, with my family, and we went at night, we saw it, we came home, and I went to bed, and I had nightmares from that, from 'cause, like, yeah, like, I came home and went right to bed. Like, that movie definitely gave me nightmares. Although it's funny because like 2 days later, I went with my friend to go see it in the afternoon, and I was fine. Like, it was because I saw it
You
right
knew what to
before I went to bed.
expect.
Yeah, and also, like I said, because I saw it right before I went to bed, so, like, it was the last thing I saw before I went to sleep.
Yeah, I can see how that would be a bit of an influence there.
And then if you've ever seen Gremlins 2, like, that movie's just great. I love Gremlins 2 because it's so funny.
I still need to see the Gremlins movies.
Oh, the first one's great. It's a good Christmas movie.
I think we did talk about that on one of our
Yeah, we
Christmas
did.
streams, didn't we?
Yep.
I'm still trying to think of what movies were traumatizing.
Well, like I said, like KA brought up in the chat, like Bambi and stuff, and I was like, well, listen, the first 10 minutes of Up is like the most depressing thing you'll ever see. Like the beginning of Finding
Amen to
Nemo.
that.
Like the beginning of Finding Nemo when like the barracuda eats like their entire family.
Strangely enough, that never really got me.
Like it eats the mother and then it eats all the babies except for Nemo. Like that's kind of messed up.
They were setting out with the intention of scarring children for life.
Yeah, exactly. So here's like a bunch of pages
Whoa.
if anyone's curious.
Are you like going to several different points in the story and like inking and coloring those pages?
No, I'm
Or
just
do you
going
do them
straight
like
through.
in order?
Yeah, I'm just doing them in order.
Okay. I didn't know what kind of comic artist you were, if you just jumped around to different points and did what you wanted to, or if you did it in order.
Yeah, no, I just decided to just do it in order. I just felt like that was this way I'm not gonna like lose my place or forget or anything.
Good point.
Like there's the secretary bird. There's like no backgrounds in these panels.
You know what? Okay. The first thing that popped into my head was those two where the secretary bird is like looking straight at you. The first
Uh-huh.
thing that popped into my head is like one of those freaky Chuck E. Cheese animatronics. You know what? I might know exactly why that's popping into my head. Give me 1 second to look up.
Uh-oh. Yeah, so there's actually quite a few different animals that'll be featured in this story. Some of them are quick, but there's a lot of them in there. There's like I've got wild dogs. Like if you ever seen African wild dogs, like those guys are awesome. I love them.
I think I have. There was a point whenever I was going on like a YouTube binge of just like crazy wildlife.
Oh, what time is it? All right,
Okay,
I
do
gotta wrap.
you remember the Nicolas Cage movie Willy's Wonderland that came out?
I do. I've never seen it. I would like to see it. Um, but I have never seen it. But yes, I do, especially because uh over on TikTok, someone requested that I draw the logo. Oh yeah.
That's what immediately came to mind is one of those freaking animatronics.
I could see that. Absolutely. Yeah, yeah, over on TikTok, somebody requested that I draw the logo from Willy's Wonderland.
Hmm.
And I did it. It did pretty well for me actually.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting logo. I
Yeah, it
actually had
was
my phone with me right now. Because I usually stick with going on the For You page. So a lot of stuff doesn't pop up.
Yeah, I don't remember when it's probably actually it's definitely down here somewhere. I don't know. I got like a million of them. I'm not sure where it is now. But yeah, it's down here somewhere. Yeah, no, it was. I definitely want to see the movie just because it looks ridiculous.
Just be warned, Nicolas Cage does not say a word in the movie.
Oh, really?
Unfortunately, yeah. It's like I actually watched a review for it, and they were like, "Yeah, the only problem is he doesn't really say anything. He's pretty much mute in the movie."
Wow, that's funny.
Which is unfortunate because it'd be a hell of a lot funnier if you had like some crazy Nicolas Cage moment.
Yeah, I just assumed
Granted,
there
he
would
is
be
still crazy, but it would
right.
be much more funny.
Yeah, I just assumed there would be one in there somewhere. That's pretty funny though. But yeah, no, it I watched the trailer and stuff and I was like, that looks ridiculous.
Oh, it is. Did you post it on TikTok?
Yeah. Yeah, it's on there. I have like a million freaking videos on.
Oh, okay, now I found it. Oh yeah, you did like 22,000. Holy shit.
Yeah, that one did good. Yeah, that one definitely did well for me. What was funny though was when when he requested it, I was like, I don't even know what the hell that is. I'm like, let me look it up. What is
And then
and
you
then
are
I
enlightened.
and then I saw what it was, and I'm like, well, what does he actually want me to draw? Because all he did was just request draw Willy's Wonderland. I'm like, okay.
Hmm.
And then
That
I
leaves it
looked it up.
open to a lot of things.
Right. So then I looked it up and I was like, oh, okay. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? And then I found the logo and I'm like, oh, okay, that'll work. Of course, then I got other people like requesting every character from the movie, and I'm like, guys, like,
I'm actually surprised that there's like that many people who would want it.
apparently, I don't know.
Hmm. Did you get any like requests to actually draw Nicolas Cage's character from the movie?
Maybe I'm not sure.
You haven't gone back to check on that one?
I don't know. I don't know what his character's name is.
That's a good question, actually.
That's the thing. Like, I get people request stuff, and they'll just be like, sometimes not even just from that, but from anything. Like, sometimes people will just say like, draw so and so, and it's just a name, and I'm like, who is that? From what? Like, give me a little more information to work on. Like, most people are smart enough to say, like, draw us, such and such from whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But every now and then I'll get somebody who'll just be like, they'll just name a character, and I'm like, I don't know who that is. You realize I'm old, right? Like, I don't know what character this is.
Yep, I've had that happen a couple of times.
Well, and my favorite is the ones when they go like, they request something, and then like my next video goes up, and it's like whatever because I've got them prepared in advance, and then like they get mad that the next video wasn't the thing they requested. It's like, dude, this is not my job, and you're not my boss. Relax.
Yeah. Well, just in case anyone would happen to request him, his literal character name is just the janitor.
Oh, okay. I don't think I got any of those. I definitely got requests for like the other animatronic characters. And I got a few requests later. I did one of them requests from Banana Splits because they took the Banana Splits and they made a horror movie with the Banana Splits.
Interesting.
So I did I don't know, I did the dog. I don't remember his name now. Fleagle or something like that. I think his name was like Fleagle the Beagle or something. But yeah, I did the regular one. I didn't do like the weird like horror movie version. I just did the regular one.
Oh my.
Yeah, well, that was like a kids show, and then they made a horror movie out of it. It's like,
That's one way to terrify people.
Yeah, like, it's just I mean, granted, it was a kids show back in, like, the late '70s or something, so, like, the kids who did watch it are all more than old enough, but
Mhm.
it's just a weird choice, like, I don't know, like, we're gonna take this weird '70s puppet property and turn it into a horror movie.
Well, that's actually not too far off. It's like you could easily take something like crazy, weird, like the Burger King mascot, and turn that into a horror movie.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh, they
Well,
actually have.
because that the Burger King dude is creepy as hell.
Mhm.
The best was he actually had his own video game.
Oh yeah, I think I have seen some clips from that. I
There's
think.
a video game on Xbox. I think it was on 360. It was called Sneak King.
Hmm.
Because like, you know how I don't know if you remember the commercials, like, he would just, like, show up. He'd be, like, hiding and, like, he would just show up and have, like, a Whopper.
Yep. Yep, I've seen those ones.
So I think that was the point of the game, was, like, you had to sneak up on people and give them hamburgers.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
They should make McDonald's should get in on that. They should make a Hamburglar game. It could be like Splinter
Hmm.
Cell, but with the hamburger.
Oh my. Um.
And they can get Michael Ironside to do the voice too.
That would actually be pretty good.
He's just like you just see like you just see the Hamburglar and he like puts his hand to his ear and he's like rubble rubble. What?
There's a lot of stuff that they could do with like fast food mascots and actually make them into pretty good video games.
Well, the thing, I mean, I
Like,
will say the one thing with McDonald's is they have a lot of characters, so you could definitely do something with that. Like a lot of the
mhm.
other ones, they really only have like one character.
Yeah.
Like you could do totally if they could get everybody to get on board, which they never would. You could totally do like a Smash Brothers game with like all the fast food mascots. You have like Wendy, Burger King, like
There's something that they could do that would be a good tie-in for like a Demolition Man type of thing.
uh
The fast food wars.
yes.
That would be interesting and
Imagine
hella entertaining.
Imagine if it was, like, basically StarCraft, but instead of, like, picking, like, the Brood or the Terrans or the Protoss, you have to pick, like, McDonald's or Burger King or, like
I would pay for that.
so everything that you build, like, the structures you build in the game, like, they all look like the restaurants.
Mhm. There was actually one cereal property that did like a whole slew of video games. Which one was it? I'm gonna need to search for it now because now I'm gonna be racking my brain for it. Serial video game. Sex Quest.
Oh, yes, yes, yes,
They
I
had
did
like
hear of that.
4 of those and they were actually pretty successful.
Well, there was a game on Xbox 360, it was on Xbox Live Arcade, and it was I wanna say it was Doritos?
I
I'm
could
pretty
I could believe that.
I'm pretty sure
Doritos
the
and
game
video games go pretty well together.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was a Doritos game, but it was like, it was free, if I remember right. I think the game was literally free, and it was do you remember how, Xbox Live, they had like, when the Wii
I
came
was
out
more the
and then
PlayStation guy, so you're
well
probably asking the
well
wrong person.
well, no, like, do you remember when the Wii came out, they had Miis, they had the
Mhm.
Mii characters and whatever, and then Xbox introduced Xbox Avatars, which was, like, their answer to the Mii. Um, the Doritos game you used your Xbox avatar in the game, and it was basically like the game was essentially like playing, like, Ninja Warrior. like you were running an obstacle course and you had to like jump and do the like it was essentially that kind of game, but it was actually pretty good. Like that was the thing that was funny about it was it actually was like not a bad game.
And they could do for like DLCs, they could do different flavors.
Yeah, it was funny because the Doritos bit wasn't even really like baked into the game too much. It was just kind of like the name was on it, but it was really just like Doritos really didn't have anything to do with the game itself. Like they just foot the bill for it, I guess. I don't know. It was just a weird thing. I remember that. Listen, you go way back on the Super Nintendo, the 7 Up, 7 Up? No. Was it 7 Up or 7 Up? It was 7 Up. The 7 Up Spot had his own game. I don't know if you
I
remember the
didn't even
7 Up
know that that
Spot.
was a thing.
Yeah, you know, like the little red. I don't even know if they still have it anymore on the bottles, but they used to always have like a little red circle on the 7 Up logo, and they eventually turned it into a character who wore sunglasses, and he was called Cool Spot. He had a
Hmm.
game. He actually had a game on Super. It was like in the 16-bit era. I think it was on Genesis and Super NES.
Was his rival Pac-Man?
What was his
Was
rival
his
Pac-Man?
rival
I don't.
Pac-Man?
Like he had a platformer like in the 16-bit era.
Hmm.
Well, then
Interesting. I'm gonna have to look that up.
do you know the Noid from Domino's?
I've
You
heard of
remember
it.
they brought him back just recently in a commercial. Um, he was his whole thing. He was a whole ad campaign built around the Noid, where his whole thing was he tried to stop the delivery from getting there on time, and you were supposed to. It was a whole like avoid the Noid. He had his own game too. He had a
I
video
believe
game.
it.
It was called Yo Noid. I am a fountain of worthless information.
Well, it's interesting information. It would be it's it's my own personal way of doing drugs without actually doing drugs. Because all of our streams together seem to end up on some sort of like drug-addled trip of insanity.
That is very true. That is very true. You know what though? Speaking of, I gotta get going. I've been going for over 2 hours now.
Yep, I can see in the little timer up in the corner. That is definitely a long time. This was your first draw stream?
Yes.
There's definitely a long time for that.
Yeah, well, it took forever to get it set up, like to figure out the right way to do it. Because I didn't want to just like point the camera at the iPad. Like that'd be ridiculous. You'd be looking at the back of my head the whole time. Like, yeah, it'd just be dumb.
Yeah, it probably would. I had the same issue whenever I was trying to get all my stuff set up for my draw streams. I was like,
Mhm.
okay, I'm gonna need this cord to plug
Uh-huh.
into here. Okay, this port doesn't work. I need this software. What the hell am I doing?
Well, that's me when I do my TikToks. I have my tripod leaning against my desk with the phone in it so like I'm actually filming it upside down when I draw it, and then I flip it around later, like before I post it, because it's just the best way to not have like my arm is covering the whole drawing, or you're just seeing the back of my head, or like some other nonsense. Like it was the only way I could figure out to make it work. So anyway, thanks for stopping in.
Hey,
It's
no
been fun.
problem. It definitely
it's
has
been
been.
it's been fun. I figured, you know what, like a draw stream with someone to talk to is even better
Oh,
because like
definitely. I can
it's
attest to
easy.
that because whenever you're rambling by yourself for, well, now 2 hours, it definitely
Uh,
gets very old, and the topics do get draining.
yeah. Well, it's funny because I found myself getting into a little Bob Ross territory at one point. Like I was just talking and just like I don't even know what I was talking about, but I was just talking and then I was, you know, putting a little branch over here, a little happy tree over here, you know.
And
like
this is going to be a little happy mistake.
but I didn't even have the cool color names, you know, because I was just inking. So, you know, it's just black. I couldn't be like,
And
"All
we're
right,
gonna
we're
put a
gonna
little
bring."
black there, a little black there.
Right, like, I couldn't be like, grab a little alizarin crimson, a little titanium white.
Here a
I
black,
used to watch.
there a black, everywhere a black, black.
Yeah, exactly. I used to watch Bob Ross, like, every afternoon when I got home from school. Like, when I was in high school, like, he was on right in the afternoon. I'd watch him, like, every day. It was the most relaxing thing. Alright, so anyway, thank you to everybody who was here in the chat, everybody who popped in and popped out, that's cool. Everybody who watches the replay, if you actually stick through the replay for this length of time, wow, uh,
Hmm.
thank you.
That is a badge of honor for you right there.
So anyway, I'll be back with more videos. I gotta record some more videos. I've got, some stuff to review that I gotta catch up on for sure. Um, and, I'll probably try to do some more, like, topic videos as well, because did a couple of those this week. I'll try to do some more of those again. I used to do those all the time, and then I kinda once I stopped driving back and forth to work all the time, I stopped doing them, so try to get back into doing those again. And what stream were you on? I didn't even ask you. What stream were you on before?
That one, what I was actually on an interview stream with a guy called Pops.
Oh,
Um,
Pops Van Zant?
no, not him. It was
Oh.
it was actually a different, completely different guy.
Oh, okay.
Um, that's pretty much all that I know him as is just Pops.
Oh,
But it
okay.
was actually more of like a recording through StreamYard, which is actually the first
Oh,
time that I've
alright.
actually had one of those.
Okay, so it'll
And
be posted at another time then.
yeah.
Okay. Alright, so people can keep an eye out for that.
Hmm.
I'm sure when you find out that it's up, you'll tweet about it so everybody can follow you.
Yeah.
Um and then find out so they can check that out. So again, I don't want to drag out the ending any longer. So thanks so much for everybody for being here. RC, thanks for coming in. And if you want to see more draw streams, let me know. Comments in the comment below, whatever. Hit me up on Twitter. Just let me know if you want to see more of it. I'm going to do it again anyway. So whether you want to see it or not, like that's too bad. But but anyway, definitely let me know. Check out links in the description for stuff and all that happy you know what. And I will talk to you guys soon. I'm going to hit the end broadcast button now. Peace.